So hello everybody, and it is my absolute pleasure and honor to start my brand new series with talking about ways to love your job and bringing all of that content into different interviews with amazing human beings to introduce to you my friend of 5 years, Rupa Ark. Rupa and I know each other from working together in GE. We were together in the Commercial Women's Network and have become firm friends ever since. Rupa is a Stafford University MBA graduate, a hugely successful female in STEM-based career, a mentor and an amazing STEM ambassador. Rupa is a warm and charismatic, genuine lady who inspires everybody with her energy, her passion and drive. So I think you now know why we are firm friends and we get on so well. So Rupa, welcome to my show.
Oh, I'm so excited. I am your first guest, right? That's even more exciting.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Lisa. Yes, yeah, absolutely. We are friends, and it's amazing to get the energy and the drive from you too with what you are doing. So again, thank you for inviting me to be your first guest.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. So as we said, it's the first in the series, and this one is called Start Something New, or it's along that theme. And I've heard, obviously you've been supporting young ladies in life sciences, and I'd like to hear a bit more about what your new adventure is.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yes. So as you mentioned, I've been in the STEM industry, working within the life sciences industry for 27 years. Right. I won't mention my age. It's a lot of experience, right? So left university with a degree in sciences, went in to do a commercial. I worked in a lab for a very short period, and lab work was not for me. And you can tell why that is, right? I'm a people person. It was like, I need to be out and about. Obviously, 27 years later, it's an amazing journey I've had. I've had various roles. I had an idea in 2019. And it was really based on some of the things that we were doing at GE and even my previous roles, where we were bringing like-minded, passionate, supportive women and men together and encouraging each other and supporting each other and upskilling and sharing the wisdom, right? And elevating each other. And 2019 was when a seed sort of planted in my head and say, wouldn't it be great if I could take what I'm doing here internally to the wider world? I mean, at that point, we were doing an amazing thing at GE, but I had a lot of connections outside of GE, 20 sort of plus years of that. And it was like, how can I take what we're doing here externally to the wider audience and bring women together? And my favorite saying is, when women support women, magic happens. And we are here today creating magic, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where Leaders4Leaders sort of was born. And the idea is that if a leader who currently a woman is a leader and she supports the next up and coming aspiring young woman who aspires to be the next leader or come into the commercial world and with a STEM background, let's put those women together. So Leaders4Leaders is simply a platform that brings women together and actually men. I want to call upon men and say, what are you doing to support women in STEM? Because we know there is a gap. So that's how this new thing started. And now it's taken me sort of 2 years to make it officially live, right? Officially live to the world and say, Leaders4Leaders is here. It started on a WhatsApp group. And now I've created a LinkedIn page and making it more wider. So it's simply inspiring the next generation of female leaders in STEM.
Okay, so when you say you're interested in men and women coming to help you do this, how can people get involved with this?
Right. First of all, simple is connections, LinkedIn, right? So I have a LinkedIn page. Everybody can find me on LinkedIn at Rupa Ark. Also follow Leaders4Leaders on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm about to set up a TikTok page, and I'll be on TikTok. But because my niece tells me, Rupa Masi, you need to be on TikTok because that's where a lot of young people hang around, right? So I need to be more social media savvy. I mean, Lisa, the idea really is that I want to give women a space and where they can come and share how have they got where they had. I mean, I'm talking from my own experience, and this is really, really important. I want to get across 27 years of experience from starting in sales, going to product management, to marketing, and then going to middle to senior management, right? And I have learned a lot. I have watched a lot of things. I have interacted with a lot of people, and I still see huge amount of gaps. So my ask is very simple to women. You're like yourself, an engineer, and now in digital space.
Yep.
How great is that? And what I want to do is showcase the next generation of women who are coming out of university with a degree in engineering, maths, IT, life sciences, biology, genetics, and say, so many opportunities. There's so many, come and see. And that's my thing. So I'm going to be showcasing, elevating different roles that are available. So come and talk to me if you're a woman in STEM and say, yeah, I like this idea and I want to be involved, and let's come together.
Yeah, for sure. And you and I both know, there's so many downfalls, if you like, in the fact that when you are a woman and you come into a role of, maybe not downfalls, that's probably a bad word, but it's more the case of there's a lot more challenges being a woman in a career like this. We get married, we have children, we grow up, and then we go through various other phases, and we'll come to that in a moment. But there's a lot that we deal with that maybe not necessarily so well known. And I think certainly from my background, when I talk about being a girl in overalls in a steam turbine factory, and how much fun it was to try and find the right toilet for a lady and then not get locked into it like I did once because it was so old that the handle came off, and it's these fun things, power stations that don't have toilets for ladies on that platform, small things like that people don't think of. And then, as we said, you come to a different part of your life where maybe your children have grown up and they leave, and there's various other things that you then work through that you don't expect. So it's also seeing a different side of that kind of career as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that stats are there, and I've been reading a lot of reports recently. As you know, I've been on 1 month sabbatical before I start my new job next week, and it's been giving me time to sort of look. And one of the things and again, not just the stats, again, going back to my own experience, when I look at my 27 years experience, how many women did I see in senior leadership roles? Very few. How many women I saw of color in leadership roles? Very few. Again, in most of my career in 27 years, when I was sitting in a management room, I was the only female.
How did that feel, Rupa? How does that feel?
It's, if I honest, Lisa, going back 10 years, it was like, didn't, right? It was, I look back and one of the other things I want to do with Leaders4Leaders is showcase my own experience. I never reflected back because I was young, enthusiastic. I was enjoying what I was doing. And as you do in Exceed Coaching, it's how you enjoy your work. I was enjoying my life. And it's only till I got to sort of mid 40s, I started to look back. And I said, oh, okay, I'm, the only woman in this meeting room. And why? I started to question. And you know what? One other thing, this is why really important to me, and I feel so passionate about Leaders4Leaders, is giving access to role models. I didn't have a female role model. I had no role model, if I'm honest. I was motivated. I'm a very self-motivated person. It was very much, I got the job on hard work, got to the next stage. Now I'm reflecting back. I was probably held back because either I was enjoying the job so much, I didn't consider what am I doing, and I never reflected back. So this is why, to answer you, how did it make you feel? Now it look back and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is, and where we are in 2022, and I still look around in the previous company, I reported into a male leader, who reported into a male leader, who reported into a male leader. And how do we shift that? And that's by empowering women to create that space for yourself and say, right, okay, I'm going to go for this. And I think, sometimes we are our own worst enemies. And I am one of them, thinking, you look at a job and you think, I don't think so. This is for me. And you recently, in the last 2 years, have empowered and gone to a senior leadership role. And you have that experience yourself. And we've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
And that imposter syndrome kicks in and that I'm not good enough. And I hope by talking about this now, and if a young, inspiring girl or a woman in a middle management role is sitting there thinking, well, you know what? Yes, I never reflect back. And that's one of my key mantras, always sit back and reflect, because then that will drive you to do the next thing. Because if you don't reflect.
True, I agree with you. And I think it gives you the courage to then think, well, actually, no, I've overcome so much more than I'm giving myself credit for. And you're right, that the move that I made last April to go to digital was, I took away all of that. I don't know if I should be doing it, the worry and concern. And I'll tell you why. It's because everybody around me, all the males around me, said, no, Lisa, you can do this. Even people that I hadn't spoken to for a long time had been contacted as a reference, and I didn't even know. And then all of a sudden they popped up and they were like, no, you really should do this. And I likened it to watching a river going past. Everyone it was going fast and it was going in that direction. And I was hanging onto the bank going, oh, I'm not really sure about this. I don't know. I don't like this about that. And I don't like that about the job. Oh, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure. But then all of a sudden I let go and went with it. And, over 12 months later, I'm there. I'm happy. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from that whole experience was, no matter what the job is on paper, if you've got something in you that thinks, I can do something with this, you don't have to be ticking every box. You make it your own. And, you can even find ways of getting over stuff, So I think you can own that space, right?
And own that space. And that's really good. I mean, one of the things, again, I think you pick a couple of things there. Allyship is so important. And when I talk about role models, I'm not just saying there has to be female role models, there are male role models, right? And sometimes you need to go and look for that, right? And you need to think of it, and there's a lot of coaching and mentoring programs now within organizations, and go and look for that. And with Leaders4Leaders, my mission and my vision really is that sometimes you may think within my organization, I really want to talk to somebody, but I'm not. This is why Leaders4Leaders will give you access to those wider mentors and coaches that you may connect better, right? Sometimes you need somebody who, you have that connection with, and you may think, right, okay. And the other thing about a lot of women are entering in life sciences at higher numbers in STEM compared to other subjects. So engineering, mathematics, life science is a higher intake when you look at women coming in. But at the same time, when you look at how many of them are actually making to senior leadership role, it's only about 10%. Wow. Because they are leaving in larger numbers as they move the next step than men. And that's really, again, so looking from experience, when I bring my own experience back, is that, when I look back, you get some interns coming into the organization, they do something, they enjoy the job. And then within a couple of years, maybe they not had the right direction. They've not really felt that they were being nurtured, and then they leave. They're leaving either the industry or they're going to another company. And this is another thing. Organizations need to nurture that talent, right?
Absolutely.
And develop that talent and build that talent pipeline. And one of the things, again, the mission with this is to empower and inspire the next generation of female leaders and unlock that talent pipeline of future women CEOs and VPs and senior directors through this, and help organizations. And hopefully they will then, to your point that you were approached by other male managers. The other thing, I think, again, GE is a great organization, is a very good example that where they do nurture. Not all organizations do that, but I think we are seeing it more and more. But sometimes again, from experience, the organizations don't take risk. They sort of thinking there is a job coming up for a senior director role or senior leader role. Let's advertise it, rather than saying, oh, we got a couple of people here. Okay, mm-hmm. They're really good. They've been on a stretch goal. They've done really well. They don't tick all the boxes, but with a little mentoring and coaching, let's put them in a position, because you've got to nurture that talent pipeline. Otherwise, externally, and in most cases, external person comes in because they're ticking all the boxes. I don't know what your experience is, but mine has been like that over the many years that I've seen, where people have been brought in externally because the businesses were just not willing to take that risk with their own talent.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've applied for jobs when Alstom merged with GE. I applied for a leadership role in the PMO department, and the person that from GE side had already been doing it had got the job, and it was like, I'm sure I could do a better job. But in some respects, the universe was giving me a message, and I changed. Everything yes. changed for me since then. And honestly, it's been like I've been reborn, because suddenly you start, as you say, you reflect and think, no, actually, I didn't get this job for a good reason, and potentially I've done it for too long, and blah, blah, blah. And I was so lucky, because I landed with a boss who, I keep saying he's one of the two best bosses I've ever had. And I just loved the way he would let me go, let me find out, good or bad, point me in the right direction if I needed it, and just keep nudging me along the way, and did test me and did put me in hot water sometimes. But you don't grow unless you do these things. And I just felt like I was trusted and I had more freedom, and that really did make a massive difference. I haven't looked back. You learn to pick out the people who are good for you, to keep in your tribe, as we've talked about before, and get that support. And that does bring a lot more understanding about who you are as a person. You can be free to be you, but at the same point, that person then realizes just where the push points are, or where the comfort zones are as well, and to keep changing it up for you. So I like that connection that you have with people. I think one of the topics I'd like to talk to you about, Rupa, is, I know we've talked about it before, and you're very passionate about it, and it's something that women, I'm getting to that age, and other women are around that age as well. It's the M word, the menopause,
the big M.
Yeah, because I think a lot of women don't realize how it can affect them and how it can affect their performance, etc. And some organizations are a lot more supportive and help you through. You and I still want to be out there doing stuff, and if we're not getting the support we need going through what we go through, then it's a big issue. So feel free, talk away.
Yeah, I'm passionate. I should have worn my T-shirt. I should have worn that T-shirt that I have. Yeah. No, joking aside, it's thank you for asking me this question, Elisa. The Leaders for Leaders is inspiring and empowering the next generation. But the next generation will not be inspired if leaders like me and you are not there to inspire, right?
Absolutely.
We are doing the jobs. So the jobs, right? Now, it was shocking to see the stats. As you know, in the last few years, the menopause has been all over the news. And I've got to put my hand up and say, until it happened to me, I knew nothing about it. Well, knew about it, but paid no attention to it.
Yeah.
And I do I did actually pick up the phone and apologize to a couple of friends who went through it and saying, I'm so sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I actually said sorry to my own mum and remembering what she went through when it hit me. So menopause hit me really hard. And when it hit me hard, it was almost like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I woke up one morning and said to my husband, I can't go on that conference call this morning. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking of taking time off work. And when I say time off work, it wasn't, I'm going to call in sick. It was, I think I want to take time out of work. I literally give up. And my husband knows me very well. He calmly sort of sat down and, yeah, okay. He goes, yeah, just cancel your calls today. Go and sit in the garden, just relaxing you, right? And then he sort of came back and said, you need to really talk this out. He knows me. I am an ambitious, driven woman who wants to do more things in life. And, the work is a big part of that. My work is a big part of my life. And it's only when I started to talk about it, and again, thanks to an amazing friend of mine who is a life coach, another woman from STEM, and left the corporate world to set up her own business. And now she's helping hundreds of women out there thrive and through menopause. And it was her and Karen, and she said to me, she said, Rupa, you're going through menopause. You're not dying, woman. I remember her saying to me, you're not dying. There's nothing, you're just going through menopause. Oh, okay. Oh, it's menopause. And then when I started to openly talk about it, Lisa, I picked up the phone and I said to my then boss and said, can I have a chat? And it was amazing manager. And I said, look, I am struggling. I'm struggling to get up in the morning. There are some nights I don't sleep. I need to adjust my working life. And he was amazing. But there wasn't a official support network at the company that I could tap into. But what I did immediately, having that conversation, just sort of the weight lifted on, and I was able, because as you know, the symptoms for me personally, the symptoms of menopause were very severe. And then I went on and had those conversations. And 2 years later, I am now starting a new position in a senior leadership role, which I start next week. So 2 years ago, I was about to give everything up. And that's, again, one of the things I want to highlight in Leaders for Leaders, where we are encouraging the young women to come into the industry and explore different types of roles there are. But I want to look at those leaders who may be feeling, I don't need the support, I'm about to give up, and give up all that amazing skills and experience. And yeah, here I am, like version 2 of me after 2.0, as my friend, one of my other friends calls me, Rupa version 2.0. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's so great to see you, like you said, starting your own organization with Leaders for Leaders, to start a new role and to be born again, as it were, straight after menopause. I think it's an absolutely brilliant story. I've loved watching all of the journey so far, and I can't wait to see where you take this. So I really would like to thank you, Rupa, for your time this morning. I really do love what you're doing, and I really would like to help more and get involved. And as STEM ambassadors as well, it's awesome to be able to stand up there and show everybody that if we can do it, you can do it. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Rupa.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate, and you are my hero.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And on that note, everybody, thank you very much for listening. We look forward to bringing you another episode very soon, where we interview another amazing human being, a superhero in real life. So thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Speak again soon.